The story begins on a very dark and suspense-filled night. We see a luxurious apartment building where a wealthy and successful businessman named Adrian Doria lives. Adrian is currently at the peak of his career. He has just won the Businessman of the Year award, and his company is entering the Asian market. But tonight, his life is on the line. Adrian is trapped in his home under police surveillance because he has been accused of the brutal murder of his lover, Laura Vidal. Every news channel is talking about him, and in the eyes of the world, he has already become a murderer. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Adrian opens it to find an elderly woman with a stern face standing there. This is Virginia Goodman, the country's best lawyer and expert in preparing witnesses. Virginia has a record of never losing a case, and this is her final case before retirement. She tells Adrian that she has arrived early because they have very little time. She reveals that the prosecutor has found a last-minute witness who is on their way to court, and this witness could testify against Adrian and destroy his entire defense.
Virginia warns Adrian that they have only 3 hours, 180 minutes. In these 3 hours, Adrian must tell her the absolute truth so she can save him in court. She tells him clearly, there is no salvation without suffering, and if he lies to her, she cannot help him. Adrian hesitates at first, but the pressure of Virginia's personality and the situation forces him to start telling the story that no one else knows. Adrian starts the story back when everything was normal. He explains that he and Laura had been having an affair for a few months. Even though he loved his wife Sonia and Laura was with her husband Bruno, there was a strong attraction between them. One day, they went on a secret trip. On their way back, they took a wrong turn and were driving through a desolate mountain area. Adrian was driving and Laura was with him. They had decided this would be their last trip and they would end the affair to focus on their families. While they were talking, a deer suddenly jumped out of the forest in front of their car. Adrian tried to swerve, but the car spun out of control and stopped on the road. At that exact moment, another car was coming from the opposite direction. In the attempt to avoid the deer, Adrian's car collided with the other vehicle. When the dust settled and the noise stopped, Adrian and Laura saw that their car had stalled. Adrian was fine and Laura had only minor injuries. But when Adrian got out to check the other car, his blood ran cold. The driver was a young boy named Daniel Garrido. He was slumped over the steering wheel, bleeding from his head, and he wasn't moving. Adrian checked him and signaled to Laura that the boy was dead.
Adrian panicked and started to call the police, but Laura stopped him. She said if the police came, the world would know they were together. Adrian's reputation, his career, his family, and Laura's family, everything would be destroyed. Laura convinced Adrian that there were no witnesses, the road was empty, and they had to save themselves. It's either this boy or us, she said. Adrian, terrified of losing his power and position, agreed with her. Just then, they saw a car approaching from a distance. They were terrified. They quickly shoved Daniel's body back into his car and acted as if they had a minor accident between themselves. The car stopped and a man stepped out, asking if they needed help. Laura, thinking quickly, lied and said they had just bumped into each other and were exchanging insurance details, so they didn't need help. The man, suspecting nothing, drove away. But now they had a big problem. Adrian's BMW wouldn't start. Laura hatched a plan. She told Adrian to take the boy's body and his car to hide them somewhere while she would stay behind and wait for a tow truck. Adrian did exactly that. He sat in Daniel's car with the body inside and drove off toward a deserted path. Adrian describes feeling terrified and guilty. He drove until he reached a swampy area with a lake. He decided sinking the car there was the safest option. He pushed the car into the swamp and it slowly disappeared into the water. In this way, he erased the evidence. Meanwhile, Laura was alone on the road. A man in an old truck stopped to help. His name was Tomas Garrido, a former automobile engineer. He offered to tow the car to his house nearby and fix it there. Laura had no choice, so she agreed. Tomas took Laura to his home. His wife, Elvira, welcomed Laura warmly. They were simple, kind people. While Tomas fixed the car, Elvira served tea. During their conversation, Elvira mentioned they had a son named Daniel. Hearing this, Laura froze. She looked around and saw photos. They were photos of the same boy whose car they had hit and whom Adrian had just sunk in the swamp. Laura realized she was in the house of the boy they had killed. She started to panic. Then something strange happened. When Laura checked Daniel's pocket during the accident, she had accidentally kept his phone. Suddenly, Daniel's phone started ringing in Laura's pocket. Elvira and Tomas were shocked because they recognized the ringtone. Elvira said, "That is Daniel's phone." Laura quickly made an excuse that it was her own phone and managed to hide it under the sofa cushion. As soon as Tomas fixed the car, Laura tried to escape. She thanked them falsely and drove away. She picked up Adrian down the road and they returned to the city. Instead of selling the car, they reported it stolen and lied to the police that they had been in Paris.
Back in the present, Virginia Goodman is listening to Adrian and asking questions. She reveals that the police investigated Daniel's disappearance, suspecting he stole money from the bank and ran away. Virginia explains this was Laura's plan. She hacked Daniel's accounts to make it look like he ran away, so no one would suspect murder. Adrian continues. A few days later, he received a blackmail letter. Someone knew their secret. The letter demanded 100,000 euros at Hotel Bella Vista, or the police would be informed. Adrian and Laura, terrified, went to the hotel, room 715. The hotel was far from the city, cold and empty. When they entered the room, no one was there. Adrian realized it was a trap. He told Laura they should leave, but the moment he turned, someone hit him hard from behind, and he was knocked unconscious. When Adrian woke up, the police were breaking down the door. Laura was lying dead on the floor, and the money was scattered. The room was locked from the inside with a chain, and the windows were sealed shut. The police found no one else in the room, so they assumed Adrian killed Laura. But Adrian insists there was a third person who knocked him out, killed Laura, and vanished. Virginia doesn't believe him. She asks, how can someone vanish from a locked room without a trace? She presents a theory. Maybe the third person was Tomas Garrido. Virginia explains, Tomas likely figured out Adrian and Laura killed his son, so to get revenge, he blackmailed them to the hotel, killed Laura, and framed Adrian. He could have escaped with the help of his wife, Elvira, who worked at that hotel. Adrian loves this theory because it proves his innocence. But Virginia has a condition. To prove in court that Tomas did this, they must show he had a motive. And the motive is only valid if Daniel's body is found, proving Adrian and Laura killed him. Virginia tells Adrian, "Tell me where the body is." She promises to anonymously tip off the police so the blame falls only on Laura for the accident. Adrian is scared. Virginia breaks him by saying, "I am here to help you, but you don't trust me." She shows a photo of a man, the potential witness. Under pressure, Adrian breaks. He marks a spot on the map and tells Virginia he sank the body in the swamp there. Here comes a massive, painful twist. Virginia asks Adrian, "Did you check if the boy was actually dead before sinking the car?" Adrian stays silent. Virginia presses him. Finally, Adrian reveals his darkest truth. He says, "When I was pushing the car into the swamp, I saw that Daniel wasn't dead." Adrian admits that before the car went under, Daniel opened his eyes and banged his hand on the window for help, but Adrian didn't stop. To save his life, career, and reputation, he drowned a living, suffering boy. He just stood on the shore and watched until the car was completely submerged. Virginia's face changes. Her eyes fill with a strange mix of hatred and rage. She calls Adrian a murderer. Adrian tries to justify it, saying he had no choice, but Virginia condemns him.
Now the climax.
Virginia tells Adrian she needs a break. She walks to the window. Adrian notices she is acting strangely. Virginia says, "Your time is up," but Adrian argues they still have time. Virginia reveals she has recorded everything. Adrian is confused. Then he notices the pen Virginia left on the table. It is leaking ink and a small red light is blinking inside. It is a transmitter and recorder. At that moment, Adrian looks across the street and sees someone in the window of the building opposite. It is Tomas Garrido. Tomas is standing there, staring directly at Adrian. Adrian is terrified. He turns back to look at Virginia. But the real twist is revealed now. The woman sitting in Adrian's room was never Virginia Goodman. She was actually Daniel Garrido's mother, Elvira. Elvira used prosthetic makeup and a disguise to become Virginia Goodman, to extract the truth from Adrian. Since the police and the law weren't helping, a mother decided to take justice into her own hands. Adrian stares at the woman in shock. She, Elvira, peels off her disguise and walks out. Adrian is left paralyzed. He has confessed to his crime with his own voice, and it's all recorded. As the fake Virginia, Elvira, leaves the building, the real Virginia Goodman arrives at Adrian's door. The doorbell rings. Adrian opens it to see the actual lawyer standing there. That is when he realizes he is completely trapped. Daniel's parents beat him at his own mind game. The game is over. So the story of the invisible guest teaches us that no matter how powerful a person is, the truth cannot be buried forever. The burden of taking an innocent life and the vengeance of parents became the cause of Adrian Doria's destruction. If you enjoyed this recap, stay tuned for more thrillers like this.